Shalom, family. Welcome back to Each One Reach One. We are back today for the continuance of our lesson, Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death, the 613 laws portion of our study, and we are on part 10. Let's give all praise, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, in the name of his blessed Son, our beloved Lord and Savior, our Master and Redeemer, Yahweh Shai. All praises due. Grace, peace, and blessings to my family, the elect of Israel. Thank you guys for joining me again, as always. All right, so we're picking up today at 358 of 613. Law number 358 of 613. Agriculture and animal husbandry. All right. You're not to crossbreed cattle of different species. Again, no livestock owners here for the most part. So, for the most part, this doesn't apply to you, right? I don't want you guys who are in the minority who have a farm to come on here talking about how, oh man, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I got a farm. Yeah, you may have a farm. Or I know somebody that have a farm. Okay, well, you may know somebody that have a farm. But does that apply to the majority of our population? If it doesn't apply to the majority, you got to throw it out the window. We're not talking about anomalies here. Okay? We're talking about the standard. Okay? 359. Not to sow, meaning plant, different kinds of seed together in one field. Okay? See, now, remember, a lot of these things that the law that the Father give us is to teach us deeper lessons than the simple activity that we're engaging in. There's usually like a double entendre or a triple entendre going on, right? There's levels that can be unpeeled and uncovered within each lesson, each law that's been given, right? So this is one of those places where there's more than one thing being taught here, right? Now, if you're being put inside of the mind of an ancient Israelite, then you understand that men having more than one wife it's a common practice. You understand how the Most High considers us his land, and to us in turn, our women, us we Israelite men, our women are considered our land. All right, and so as far as the land goes, the women of Israel, right, and us, the men with the seed, we're the husbandmen, we're the farmers, right, who plant the seeds in the field. Our women. That's why our women are not allowed to have multiple partners, multiple husbands, because you're not allowed to sow different kinds of seed together in one field. Okay. So again, now, if you don't have land and you're not planting vegetables and fruit and so forth, this still applies to you in the other sense. If you are indeed under the law, ladies, you're supposed to be a virgin until you are betrothed, until you are married, right? And then you're never to give it up to any man after that first guy you give it to until that guy dies, right? Your husband has to pass away in order for you to be eligible to go and be with another man, right? So you are guilty. You are a violator of the law, ladies, if you have more than one sexual partner in your lifetime. You believe in the law and you have more than one sexual partner in your lifetime, you are a violator of the law. no matter who you're with right now, that guy is most likely not the guy you gave your virginity to. You've had multiple seed being sown in you, the field. You're a violator of the law. You can't claim that you love the law, that you believe in the law, that you adhere to the law, and you have multiple partners. You sleep with multiple men. Or you've ever slept with multiple men. You've ever had more than one partner. If you have more than one partner in your life, and it's not because the first guy that you had, that he's passed away, if that's not the reason, you are a violator of the law. Okay? And you are held accountable for that. There is no excuse, no ignorance of the law. Well, I didn't know that it wasn't okay to sleep with a bunch of different men because I was just trying to be like men. Men are allowed to have multiple sex partners. How come I'm not allowed? It ain't right, Yahweh. That ain't right. I ain't even feeling that. See, then a lot of these women get real super sassy with the father. They start off talking about how they're about obedience and about love and praise to the and honor to the father, right? They say that they honor him with with their lips, right? But their hearts are far from him. They say these things until it comes down to really abiding by the law. They can say whatever they want. The law's still in effect. Oh, I'm a law keeper. They say that, but they don't think that their husbands, their men, should be able to have other women besides them. They believe that if a man can have more than one woman, then they should be able to have more than one man. They should be able to do everything a man can do while also calling themselves Israelite women. That's fucking crazy. It doesn't work like that. You're out of order. All right. And you have not atoned. How do I know you have not atoned? Because you can't atone. So I do know you. I'm in your life a little bit. I'm in your house a little bit. I do got a little bit of an understanding about who you are, right? And so I can make this statement confidently and say that you're a violator. You are an offender. You have never atoned for any of your sins. You're in trouble. All right, let's keep it moving. I've lingered there for long enough. 360. Not to eat the fruit of a tree for 3 years from the time it was planted. That the fruit of the fruit-bearing trees in the 4th year of their planting shall be sacred, like the second tithe, and eaten in Jerusalem. See, again, this is tied to the land. Tied to the land that we are not in, the land that we do not have, the trees and the plants and that we don't have. This is in reference to that. So it's like the law doesn't belong to you. He's specifying this is supposed to be done in Jerusalem, but we're not in Jerusalem. We're in our captivity. So how can this law apply to you? Even if you did have your own land, how could this still apply to you? It doesn't. It's like it wasn't meant for you or something. 362. I was about to go off on a tangent, but let me rein it back. Let me keep it moving. 362. Not to sow grain or herbs in a vineyard. Again, doesn't apply, so we're going to fly right past it. 363. Not to eat the produce of diverse seeds sown in the vineyard. How do you know whether or not you've done this? Because this can apply to you. This definitely can apply to you. So if it can apply to you, it does apply to you if you are indeed under the law. And so for you law pushers, you are under the law. How can you affirm or deny whether or not you've done this? You can't. You can't know. You can't know at all. If you aren't doing all your own farming, eating only the things that come from your own harvest of your own toil and labor in your own yard, your own land, you can't know. You don't know. And there's a great chance that you're guilty here, right? There's a great chance that you have violated in this law. And have you atoned? No. Why not? Because you can't. Exactly. 364. Not to work with beasts of different species yoked together. Okay, let's keep it going. Clothing. 365. That a man shall not wear women's clothing, that a woman should not wear men's clothing, not to wear garments made of wool and linen mixed together. There's a lot of you that are probably guilty of this. A lot of you have probably done this with no consideration of the fabrics that your garments were made out of, right? You don't make your own clothing for the most part. We don't. So many of you can be and probably are violators of this law. Okay? Plain and simple. Let's keep it going. And no, you have not atoned. The firstborn, Law 368, to redeem the firstborn human male. To redeem the firstborn human male. What does that mean? Well, every firstling, as you shall redeem with a sheep. If you do not redeem it, you must break its neck, and you must redeem every firstborn male among your children. Have you? Can you? Will you? You must redeem every firstborn among your sons. None shall appear before me empty-handed. Have you guys redeemed your firstborn son to the Lord? Have you? The first issue of the womb of every being, man or beast, that is offered to the Lord shall be yours, but you shall have the firstborn of man redeemed, and ye shall also have the firstling of unclean animals redeemed. Does this apply to you? Do you have children? Have you conceived? Have you done this? Let's read it again. The first issue of the womb of every being, man or beast, that is offered to the Lord shall be yours. But ye shall have the firstborn of man redeemed, and ye shall also have the firstling of unclean animals redeemed. The first and best of all things belong to the Father Yahweh. This is true, even of the firstborn of children. Okay? You have to redeem your firstborn to the Lord. Have you given your firstborn child to the Lord, to the Father? Have you done this? Originally, it was intended that the firstborn would serve as the priests and temple functionaries of Israel. However, after the incident of the golden calf, in which the tribe of Levi did not participate, the Father chose the tribe of Levi over the firstborn for this sacred role. This is explained in Numbers 8 and 14 through 18. However, even though their place has been taken by the Levites, the firstborn still retain a certain degree of sanctity. And for this reason, they must be redeemed. And in this time, you do not have the Levites. You don't have them, right? So if the law still applies, that means you got to go back to redeeming your child, right? But you really can't, right? Because originally it was intended that the firstborn would serve as the priest and the temple functionaries of Israel. And again, we don't have a priesthood. We don't have a temple. So your children, your firstborn, can be redeemed as functionaries of Israel, right? Impossible. All right. A firstborn son must be redeemed after he reaches 31 days of age. Ordinarily, the ritual is performed on the 31st day. However, the ritual cannot be performed on Shabbat because it involves the exchange of money. The child is redeemed by paying a small sum 5 silver shekels in biblical times. Today, usually $5 silver to a cohen, preferably a pious one, familiar with the procedure and performing a brief ritual. Again, no cohen, meaning no sons of Aaron. No sons of Aaron. So this can't apply to you. It's impossible for this to apply to you, Israel, right? So the Most High knows what he's doing. Why did he give you these laws that you can't abide by, that you can't fulfill? You can't live by them, but he gave them to you anyway. That doesn't seem like doing things decently and in order, which means that's outside of his character, which means if it's outside of his character, there's probably an error somewhere in your understanding because there's no contradiction in him. Right? All right. To redeem the firstling of an ass. Are any of you running around to your nearest petting zoo? You know what I mean? The nearest farm that you can find, finding their ass that's pregnant, finding the ass that's sitting around waiting for them to mate, get pregnant, and have babies so that you can grab the firstling and redeem it. That doesn't make sense to you, right? That just fucking sounds crazy to you, right? If it sounds crazy to you, throw the law out. Throw the fucking law out. It's supposed to sound crazy. This is how the Most High is trying to show you that it's not in effect. He wants this shit to sound stupid and fucking crazy to you so that you understand that he got rid of it. It sounds stupid and it sounds crazy and it sounds impossible for a reason. This is how you're supposed to know. This is how you're supposed to be sure. This is how he left you no doubt that he did away with it. He left you no way to redeem yourself because he gave you a way. He don't want you to being able to redeem yourself. He gave you a redemption and you don't want it. You didn't take it. You rejected it. And because of that rejection, you have been left in gross darkness. He didn't leave you a way to atone because he got rid of that old system. He did away with it. He did away with the old covenant and gave you a new one. But you didn't want it. So now you're stuck having to abide by the rules of the old covenant and you can't keep it. That's the position he put you in. You can't keep it. It's an impossible task. It is an impossible task for you to fulfill. That's how you're supposed to know that he doesn't want you to do it, because if he wanted you to do it, it wouldn't be impossible. He would give you every way to be able to fulfill it. And it would be on you whether or not you slipped and fell. But no, under your current belief system, he set it up for you to slip and fall. He set you up for destruction by not giving you a way to live this out, to fulfill these laws. And on top of having no way to fulfill these laws, he gave you no way to atone for not being able to fulfill these laws, according to you, according to me, according to we who are of the law of liberty, who follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth, who believe in Yahweh Shai, who believe in the New Testament, the new covenant. We know you guys are fools, and we know how we're sanctified. We know where our salvation comes from. We know we have received atonement for our sins. That we know the reason why we can't go out and atone for ourselves. We know why we're not allowed to go in and offer up offerings and sacrifices. We know why. You don't know why. You think the law of Moses is still in effect, but you have no idea why you're not able to perform the duties of the law. You have no idea. It doesn't make sense to you. The truth doesn't make sense to you. That's crazy. Continuing on. Kohanim and Levites. 372. The Kohanim shall put on priestly vestments for the service. So service has to be carried out by the Kohanim. You don't know who they are, don't know where they are. The priesthood doesn't exist. They're the ones supposed to carry out the service. They're supposed to be the law upholders, the law givers, but they are not around, are they? Where are they? If you know, tell the rest of us, right? Not to tear the high Kohen's robe, that the Kohen shall not enter the sanctuary at all times, i.e., at times when he is not performing service. No Kohen, pardon me with this word, Kohen, don't exist. Neither does the sanctuary, does it? So no Kohen, no sanctuary. All right, 375. That the ordinary Kohen shall not defile himself by contact with any dead other than immediate relatives. Again, where are the Kohen? These are supposed to be priests, and these are things they're not allowed to do because of ceremonial purposes and duty purposes that they're supposed to carry out. But there is no priesthood. There is no temple. There are no duties for the Levitical priesthood to carry out. It's been abolished. We have a different priest. You guys just don't want them. 376, that the Kohanim defile themselves for their deceased relatives by attending their burial and mourn for them like other Israelites who are commanded to mourn for their relatives. That a Kohen who had an immersion during the day to cleanse him from his uncleanness shall not serve in the sanctuary until after sunset. No Kohen, no sanctuary. But the law is still in effect. 378. That a Kohen shall not marry a divorced woman. That a Kohen shall not marry a harlot. But if the men are able to go out and sleep with however many women they want to, I should be able to. The Most High has a law. He has a position against harlots in Israel, against Israelite women being loosey-goosey, right? Israelite women are not supposed to be able to live a free agent lifestyle. That is not how the Most High set it up. He did not. If you are an Israelite woman out there living a free agent lifestyle, you are not in alignment with his will. You are not being obedient. You're not covered. You're not in line. You're out of order. You are violating the law. You are filthy, and you cannot come to him. You're just waiting to die. 380, that a Kohen shall not marry a profaned woman. Remember, no woman who has been profaned, right? No woman with smut on her reputation, right? No woman who has had illegitimate children, right? 381, to show honor to a Kohen. How can you show honor to someone you don't come in contact with? And to give him precedence in all things that are holy. You can't do this. Why can you not do this? It is impossible, right? Because you don't know who the fuck they are. There is no priesthood. You don't know who the Kohen are. You can't abide by this. 382, that a high Kohen shall not defile himself with any dead, even if they are relatives. 383, that a high Kohen shall not go under the same roof with a dead body. It has been learnt by tradition that a Kohen who does so violates the prohibition. Neither shall he go in. And also the prohibition, he shall not defile himself. Again, nobody's really in any danger of offending here because ritual sacrifices in the sanctuary, the temple, are no more. The Kohen are no more. As a priesthood, as a bloodline, oh yeah, they're out here somewhere. But their function is done away with. So all of this, which is ceremonial stuff, it's out. It's out. 384. That the high cohen shall marry a virgin. Oh, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Even if they did exist, good luck with that. 385. That the high cohen shall not marry a widow. 386. That the high cohen shall not cohabit with the widow, even without marriage, because he profanes her. 387. That a person with a physical blemish shall not serve in the sanctuary. There's no sanctuary, so you really have no way of violating this. So you're safe there. But the fact that there is no sanctuary, the fact that it's impossible for you to violate this law means that the law is not in effect. Most High wouldn't just give you a bunch of laws for nothing. He gave you laws to govern you, because everything that he tell you not to do is possible for you to do. That's why he gave you a law of prohibition. If it's impossible for you to do these things, that it means the law is unnecessary. It's unnecessary. He took it out of the way. It has been nailed to the cross, and you want to hold on to it. There we go, 388. That a cohen with a temporary blemish shall not serve there. There where? In the sanctuary. That doesn't exist. That a person with a physical blemish shall not enter the sanctuary further than the altar. That doesn't exist. In the sanctuary. That doesn't exist. That a cohen who is unclean shall not serve. Where? In the sanctuary. That does not exist. 391. To send the unclean out of the camp of the, how do you pronounce this? The Shekinah, that is out of the sanctuary. That doesn't exist. That a Kohen who is unclean shall not enter the courtyard. This refers to the camp of the Shekinah, aka the sanctuary. That doesn't exist. 393, that the Kohanim shall bless Israel. Where are the Kohanim blessing Israel? Why aren't we being blessed by the Kohanim? Where are they? We're missing our blessings. No, not me. You guys are. I'm getting my blessings via Yahweh Ba'ashem HaMashiach Yahushua. I'm getting mine. But for you law pushers, how are you getting your blessings? You're missing your blessings. You're missing your cleansing. You have no way to get blessed, no way to get cleansed, no way to atone, a bunch of laws that you can't keep. You're in trouble. 394, to set apart a portion of the dough for the Kohen, that the Levites shall not occupy themselves with the service that belongs to the Kohanim, nor the Kohanim with that belonging to the Levites. That one not a descendant of Aaron in the male line shall not serve in the sanctuary. That doesn't exist. That the Levite shall serve in the sanctuary. That doesn't exist. The Levites, who are they? Oh no, we don't know who's who, right? We don't know who's who. But we know we don't have a sanctuary for them to serve in, right? No Levites intact, no priesthood, no sanctuary, no law. 398, to give the Levites cities to dwell in, these to serve also as cities of refuge. So why haven't we given the Levites cities to dwell in? Where are the Levites? Where are their cities that we, the Israelite people, have given them? We're in fucking captivity. We have no ability to give the Levites a city to dwell in, even if we did know who they were. Even if we could point them out, we don't have the ability to give them a city to dwell in. We have no ability to create cities of refuge for them to serve in. No ability to do this. It's like we're not supposed to. It's like we're not supposed to be bothered with this. It's like he got rid of it and we're supposed to not be trying to adhere to this anymore. That's what it seems like to me. Just using my common sense, it seems to me like the Most High got rid of this stuff. Otherwise, he would have given us away. There is no way. There is no way. It is impossible. It is impossible, Israel. This is how you're supposed to know. You're supposed to look and see the state of things and know whether or not his fingerprints are on them. You're supposed to know his character. And if you know his character, you know he gives you a way. He doesn't put you in an impossible situation and expect you to overcome an impossible situation. He's reasonable. If he gives you laws to govern you, it's because you need the laws because you can offend. He gives you a law for every area in which you can offend. If you have a bunch of laws and it's impossible for you to even offend in these laws, guess what? Either the Most High is redundant, not a great planner, just wanted to burden you with a bunch of unnecessary laws, or he wanted to kill you by putting a bunch of laws in place that you can't keep, but tell you that you have to keep them under penalty of death. What is his character? That's how you find out what the truth is. Don't listen to what these men say. What is the character of the Most High? What does his track record tell you? You're supposed to know him. How are you going to know if someone or something is of him if you don't know him? You obviously don't know him if you're saying the laws, statutes, and commandments are still in effect. That means you don't know him. You can't see that he got it out of the way. He took it out of your way. He removed the stumbling block so that there would be no impediment for us coming back to him. He didn't want us tripping all over shit in our pursuit to get to him. He made it easier to come to him, not harder. Except for you people who try to cling to the law. It's impossible for you to come to him. So it's like he left you clinging to something that's impossible for you to fulfill because he don't want you to get to him. It's like there's a group of people, a group of Israelites that the Most High don't give a fuck about. He don't want you to come to him. It's like, did he ever say that? Shit, 1/3, 2/3. Damn. So there is a group of people who he does not want to come to him. Wow. And if he doesn't want you to come to him, he would put something in the way to stop you from being able to come to him. The fucking law. It's your stumbling block, Israel. If you're holding on to this stumbling block, it means the Most High left you in that mindset. He won't let you let it go so that you can't come to him. He don't want you to. He don't want you. You're not of his elect. You are of the 2/3. This should show you. If you are a law keeper, supposedly, a law pusher, if you are a believer that the law is still in effect and you're supposed to hold on to it, you are showing yourself. You are having it revealed to you right now. It should be abundantly clear to you that the Most High is not dealing with you. He has placed this stumbling block in front of you. You know it's a stumbling block because you can't keep it. If you could keep it, it wouldn't be a stumbling block, but it is a stumbling block because you can't keep it. So you will stumble at it. You will not be able to make it to him because you have this thing in the way that won't allow you to get past it, to get to him. But this doesn't make sense to you. Grows darkness, right? 399. That none of the tribe of Levi shall take any portion of territory in the land of Israel. Look at this. Look at this. Another law pertaining to the tribe of Levi, who we can identify, giving them an edict, giving them a directive. There we go. Found it. Giving them a directive not to take any portion of territory in the land of Israel. Are we in the land of Israel? No, we're not. So even if we knew who the Levites were, it would be impossible for them to violate this because we are not even in our land, right? It would be impossible for the rest of us to violate this by giving them any land because we are not in the land of Israel, right? So it means it also doesn't fit. It doesn't apply to you. All of these things you can see it applies. It seems like it applies to people who are given land. And it makes sense because when Most High says you are to obey all of these laws that I give you to obey in the land that I'm giving you. All these lands you are to, all these laws you are to obey in the land which I am going to give you. Pardon me. It took me a while to get that out properly. That's what he said. I'm giving you these laws to govern you in the land that I'm going to give you. But we are not in the land that he's given us. We are not in control of the land that we are in. We are unable to meet the obligations of most of these laws. And many other of the many other others, many of the other laws don't even apply to us. It is impossible. That should be your telltale. That none of the tribe of Levi shall take any share of the spoil at the conquest of the promised land. Oh, wait a minute. See, look. See, does this apply to you also? The share of spoil, meaning spoils of war, right? The spoils of war. Who are we able to go to war with? Nobody. But this was very specific. None of the tribe of Levi shall take any share of the spoil at the conquest of the promised land. See, look, this is all tied to the promised land, all tied to the land that he was giving us. This is all these laws, all of this is tied to it. He told you where these laws apply to us in the land that he was giving us, the promised land. We are not in that land. We are not under those laws. 401, that the Kohanim shall serve in the sanctuary, which doesn't exist, in divisions. But on festivals, which we don't keep and can't keep, they all serve together. Right? 402, that an uncircumcised person shall not eat of the heave offering, which we don't offer because we don't have a sanctuary. We don't have a temple to do any offerings. We don't have lawgivers, law pushers, law upholders, aka the Levitical priesthood and the Kohanim. We don't have them. We have none of that stuff. So this can apply to us. We can't adhere to this. But if you are a law pusher saying that the law is still in effect, you have to do this. There are no excuses for you to not get this done. If you're saying the law is still in effect, all of them are in effect. Period. And the same applies to other holy things. This rule is inferred from the law of the Paschal offering. The Paschal offering, by similarity of phrase. But it is not explicitly set forth in the Torah. Traditionally, it has been learned that the rule that the uncircumcised must not eat holy things is an essential principle of the Torah and not an enactment of the scribes. Okay? 403. Not to alter the order of separating the, pardon the pronunciation, but if you can see the word, work with me. Not to alter the order of separating the terumah and the tithes. The separation be in the order first. The separation be in the order. First fruits at the beginning, then the terumah, then the first tithe, and last, the second tithe, all of which we are unable to do. So that means none of this applies, right? If none of this applies, then the law flies right out the window. Y'all should be clear on this by now, that this is not for us. To give half a shekel every year. You guys are dealing with shekels. How much is a shekel? How many shekels you got in your pocket right now? How many shekels you got in your bank account? Yeah, like I thought. To give half a shekel every year to what? To the sanctuary that we don't have for provision of public sacrifices, which we don't do. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. 405. That a cohen who is unclean shall not eat of the truma. Say to them throughout the ages, if any man among your offspring, while in a state of uncleanness, partakes of any sacred donation that the Israelite people may consecrate to the Lord, that person shall be cut off from before me. I am the Lord. He says throughout the ages. So law keepers are jumping off their bunk beds, right? Bumping their heads and shit, trying to yell and scream at the computer right now. See, he said throughout all the ages. Okay, but can you do this? Where's the sanctuary? Where do we do public sacrifices and so forth? Where and how? Yeah, okay. 405. I'm sorry. 406. That a person who is not a cohen, or the wife or unmarried daughter of a cohen shall not eat of the truma. That a sojourner with a cohen, this go get pronounced all sorts of ways. Y'all just rock with it. That a sojourner of the cohen or his hired servant shall not eat of the truma. Not to eat tevel, something from which the truma and tithe have not yet been separated. To set apart the tithe of the produce, 1/10 of the produce after taking out truma for the Levites. Are you guys tithing your produce? No land, right? No farms, right? No temple, no Levites, no ability to fulfill this law to tithe cattle. Are you tithing cattle? You're not tithing cattle? You're in trouble. Why are you not tithing cattle? Because I don't have any land, man. I don't have any cattle, man. I can't do it, man. Man, the Most High put me between a rock and a hard place. Give me these laws to fulfill, and I can't do it. Did he give you this? Or did men give you the law? If the Most High gave you the law, he would give you a way. That's his way. You don't get it? Sucks to be you. Gross darkness. 411. Not to sell the tithe of the herd. 412. That the Levites, who are disbanded and don't even know themselves right now, shall set apart 1/10 of the tithes in the sanctuary and temple that doesn't exist from the Israelites and their land and their flocks that they tithe, not because they don't have shit to tithe, which they had received from the Israelites, and give it to the Kohanim, right? Called the Truma of the tithe. Again, can't do it. Can't do it, right? Yeah, exactly. You can't do it. So you're in trouble. If you're holding on to this, you have to abide by it. 413, not to eat the second tithe of cereals outside Jerusalem. See, another mentioning of the land, something you can't do in the land or outside of the land. Another reference. It's like the Most High was very specific about who he was giving this to and for what time period. You're supposed to be able to see the signs. That is not for you. This is called reading comprehension. Ability to understand context clues. Context clues. You're supposed to be able to figure things out from the information provided. You're supposed to be able to see what's insinuated, what's being inferred. It shouldn't always have to be spelled right out to you or thrown right in your face. You should be able to check out the inference, right? Read into the context. That's why your studying is supposed to be on multiple levels. But see, this is just another one of those ways that the Most High is making it manifest who belongs to him and who doesn't. Because the stupidity of those who don't belong to him, they actually think that it's even possible for them to keep the law. And it's not. And they can't see it. They can't see it. They can't see what's there. They hold on to it with all their might and can't even see that it's something they're supposed to let go of. It's killing them. And they don't even realize it. 4:15. 4:14. Not to consume the second tithe of the vintage outside of Jerusalem. Outside of Jerusalem. Not to consume the second tithe of the oil outside of Jerusalem. Not to forsake the Levites. Don't know who they are. How can you forsake them? But their gifts, dues, should be given to them. Are you giving them these people who you don't know? You can't point them out. Are you giving them their gifts? So that they might rejoice therewith on each and every festival that we don't keep, that we can't keep, because every festival involves offerings and sacrifices, which you can't do. 4:17. To set apart the second tithe in the first, second, fourth, and fifth years of the sabbatical cycle to be eaten by its owner. Where? In Jerusalem. Today, it is set aside, but not eaten in Jerusalem. We know that's for the modern day-ish people over there trying to talk about them. But we know we gotta, we get the meats without the bones. We dodge the hijacks. We keep everything in its proper perspective, in its proper context, right? You don't do it, you can't do it, but you have to do it if you're claiming the law is still in effect and you're in trouble. 4:18. To set apart the second tithe in the third and sixth year of the sabbatical cycle for the poor. You don't do it. And you can't do it. Again, you guys aren't picking up on the habit, on the pattern here. It's not been made clear to you yet. That's what I'm saying. That's why it was necessary for us to march through this just like this. This is to bury it once and for all. This is how you bury something. You go through it with a fine-tooth comb, nitpicking. To give the cohen the due portions of the carcass of cattle. Are you giving them their due portion? Them who? The cohen that you don't know who the fuck they are? Are you giving them their due portions of the carcass of cattle that you don't fucking have? Why not? Why are you not giving the people who you can't point out the shit that you don't have? Doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand how you're failing to give up what you don't have to people who you can't recognize, who you can't point out. That shit's fucking crazy. According to the Talmud, this is not mandatory in the present outside of Israel, but it is permissible, and some observant people do so. And see, this is them making excuses, right? See, because that's a lot of them that aren't in the land. So they're trying to make exceptions for their people who aren't in the land over there. See, they supposedly are in the land of Israel. They're supposedly supposed to be the people, right? But they're making exceptions for their people because they know they're spread out all over the place, so that those of their brethren don't feel guilty about violating. That's crazy. 4:20. To give the first of the fleece that you don't have, because you don't have a flock, you don't have lambs and sheep and shit. So you can't give the first of the fleece to the cohen. You can't do it. You can't do it. To set apart to my the dola, the great heave offering, because we don't have great heave offerings. We have no offerings. That is a small portion of the grain, wine, and oil, which you don't have because you don't have your own harvest. You don't have land and crops to harvest to do this. 4:22, not to expend the proceeds of the second tithe on anything but food and drink. The second tithe, which you don't give because you aren't able to do this. It's impossible. No priesthood, no sanctuary, no temple, no harvest, no land of your own to till. Not to eat the second tithe, even in Jerusalem. Again, another law tied to Jerusalem, tied to land, in a state of uncleanness until the tithe had been redeemed. 4:24. not to eat the second tithe when mourning. 425, to make the declaration when bringing the second tithe to the sanctuary. Do you make the declaration when bringing your tithe that you don't have to the sanctuary that doesn't exist? Do you do this? You got to do it, even if it's impossible. You said, because you said the law is in effect. That means you have to do this. You can't make excuses for why you're not doing it. You can't say, I can't. You can't say that. You can't say that, because the Most High, he's not in error. He's perfect. He doesn't give you a bunch of laws and you're not even able to apply them to you. Any laws that they give you is because they're applicable to you. Is it because they're applicable to you? And so if you find yourself sitting there saying, these aren't applicable to me, man, I can't even do it, you got to reevaluate your belief in the law then. That's what that means. Doesn't mean I'm wrong. Doesn't mean the law of liberty is wrong. It means your understanding about the fucking law is wrong. And you need to reevaluate, man. The temple, the sanctuary, and sacred objects. Boy, we could just skip this whole entire section right here and just say, you know what, just chalk it all up to can't do it. Right? Because that's what y'all do right now. I keep the laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of my ability. If I can't do it, then screw it. That's your mantra, right? Oh, you're going to burn for that. 426, not to build an altar of hewn stone. Don't build altars at all. So I guess you're good there. Not to mount the altar by steps. You don't mount the altar at all because there isn't one. So you know, doesn't apply there either. To build the sanctuary, what? To build this, what? To build the sanctuary, man. To build the sanctuary. Where is it? Why don't we have one? Why haven't you guys built one? Law pushers? Why have you guys not built a sanctuary? If you have, where is it, man? Show the rest of us how wrong we are and how you guys built the sanctuary. You built no sanctuary. Violators. 429, not to remove the staves from the ark. Where is the ark? Oh, you don't know? Oh, you lost the ark, law pushers? That's what you're saying? You got to have the ark. You got to have it. It has to be inside the sanctuary. It has to be inside the temple, man. Where is it? 430, to set the showbread and the frankincense before the Lord every Shabbat. How you gonna do that, man, with no temple? How you go? Where you gonna set the showbread at? No temple, no sanctuary. Where are you gonna put it? To kindle lights in the sanctuary. How are you doing it? Are you kindling lights in the sanctuary that don't exist? If you're not kindling lights in the non-existent sanctuary, you're in trouble. You're violating the law. Doesn't matter if there is no sanctuary. You're supposed to be lighting candles up in that motherfucker. Lighting kindling lights, pardon me. Kindling lights in that damn sanctuary. It doesn't exist, but you're still supposed to kindle lights in there anyway. Law pushers. You're supposed to make one. You're supposed to build one because the law 428 says to build a sanctuary. You can't perform 431 because you ain't fulfilled 428. You fucking up. 432, that the breastplate, which you do not adorn, shall not be loosened from the ephod. To offer up incense twice daily, which you don't do because you can't do because there is no fucking sanctuary, man. So you can't do this. That the not to offer strange incense nor any sacrifice upon the golden altar. Strange incense. What does strange incense mean? Probably refers to incense that you didn't make yourself, right? That wasn't made by an Israelite. How many of you are swinging that incense around out there, burning incense all the time? You didn't make it. Wasn't made by another Israelite. A strange incense, right? But not only that, let's finish it all. Not to offer strange incense, nor any sacrifice upon the golden altar, which infers that you're supposed to be offering sacrifices upon an altar, just not the golden altar. That the cohen shall wash his hands and feet at the time of service. No cohen, there are no services being held. It's like impossible, right? It's like it's impossible. It's like this is not meant for you, right? Right. 436. To prepare the oil of anointment and anoint high kohanim and kings with it. You don't do this. You can't do this. How many kings are being anointed? Well, we can't anoint any kings because we aren't in our land, man. Man, we got all these laws, man. Man, we're in trouble, man. Man, we're supposed to be anointing kings and high kohanim. We can't do it. What are we gonna do, man? What are we gonna do? We's in trouble. Ooh, him gonna be mad at us. No. Him is mad at you, you fucking fool. 437. Not to compound oil for lay use after the formula of the anointing oil. You don't make any oil. You don't make anointing oil. You don't make lay oil. Not to anoint a stranger with the anointing oil. Not to compound anything after the formula of the incense. See, because you're supposed to be making your own incense. I told you, that's what he meant by strange incense. Incense not made by you, not made by Israelites. Right? Violator, using that strange incense out there. 440, that he who in error makes unlawful use of sacred things shall make restitution of the value of his trespass and add a fifth. To remove the ashes from the altar. You guys doing this? Removing the ashes from the non-existent altar? To keep fire always burning on the altar that doesn't exist, of the burnt offering that is never given. On the altar of the burnt offering. So this would be an altar dedicated to burnt offerings, right? Don't have one, right? Don't have a sanctuary, right? Of course, you don't have a sanctuary. You don't have an altar of burnt offerings in there. So you're not offering burnt offerings, right? But you're supposed to offer burnt offerings, right? Yeah. Daily offerings, monthly offerings, yearly offerings, right? Special occasion offerings, every festival, every feast day, all include ceremonial offerings that must be given. And you don't do it, but you claim you're keeping all these different days, this day, that day, and the other day, right? You're a fucking liar. And it's been made manifest that you are a liar. There is no truth in you. You're being shown that you do not belong to him. Not to extinguish the fire on the altar, that a cohen shall not enter the sanctuary with disheveled hair. Do not bring your ass into the sanctuary looking like you just rolled the fuck out of bed. Comb your fucking hair. No happy nappy cohen in the sanctuary. That doesn't exist. Right. That a cohen shall not enter the sanctuary, that doesn't exist, with torn garments. Do not bring your ass in the imaginary sanctuary either, you people who we can't fucking point out with torn garments either. That's a no-go. That the cohen shall not leave the courtyard of the sanctuary that doesn't fucking exist during service that we don't fucking have. That an intoxicated person shall not enter into the imaginary sanctuary, nor give decisions in matters of the law. To revere the sanctuary that the law pushers have not built. That when the ark is carried, the ark that we lost, the ark that we don't have, that we can't find, that nobody can locate, It's supposed to be carried, right? And there's rules for carrying it. It should be carried on the shoulder. He gave you rules, a law for carrying something, instructions on how to carry something you don't even have access to. That's weird. Sure, that sounds plausible. That sounds like something the Most High would do. 450, to observe the second Passover. And you don't tell me you do, because you don't. You don't. You can't. Because the ceremonies come along with it, and you can't do it. So you don't do it. 451, to eat the flesh of the Paschal lamb on it. You don't do this because you can't do that. With unleavened bread and bitter herbs. You don't do it because you can't do it. And if you could do it, you still wouldn't do it because people violated all over the place back in the time when they could do it. They didn't keep this law in its entirety. But now you, in this day and time, with none of the access that you need to everything that you need in order to fulfill the law, you're doing it though. You're doing it. They couldn't do it back then, but you can do it now. Say word. 452. Not to leave any flesh of the Paschal lamb brought on the second Passover until the morning. Not to break a bone of the Paschal lamb brought on the second Passover. To sound the trumpets at the offering of sacrifices and in times of trouble. Man, so to what? 454. To sound the trumpets. I haven't heard any trumpets being sounded at the offering, which is never given, of sacrifices, which is impossible, in times of trouble and in times of trouble. We're supposed to be, so it's like we're supposed to be offering sacrifices, right? And not only are we supposed to be offering sacrifices if we're under the law, you're supposed to sound the trumpets at the offering of the sacrifices, right? Which you're not doing any of that. And in times of trouble. Boy, we in our captivity. You want to talk about in times of trouble, that fucking horn should be sounded non-fucking stop. We should hear that horn every day. You should be able to hear it in my background right now. But you don't. And you won't. Right? Crazy. To watch over the edifice continually. Not to allow the sanctuary, which doesn't exist, to remain unwatched. Are you guys keeping watch over our imaginary sanctuary? Who's in charge of imaginary sanctuary watch? How you get on that detail? That an offering shall be brought by one who has in error committed a trespass against sacred things, or robbed or lain carnally with a bondmaid betrothed to a man, or denied what was deposited with him, and swore falsely to support his denial. This is called a guilt offering for a known trespass. When's the last time you brought your guilt offering, Israel? Oh man, so many of you are guilty of so many different things, especially these things that are outlined here. How many? Where do you take your guilt offerings to? 458. Not to destroy anything of the sanctuary, of the synagogues, or of houses of study, nor erase the holy names of Yahweh, nor may sacred scriptures be destroyed. Sacrifices and offerings. To sanctify the firstling of clean cattle and offer it up. Do you sanctify the firstling of clean cattle and offer it up? Do you? Matter of fact, you know what? I just caught note of the time. We've reached our 5 minutes after an hour mark. I like to keep it about the hour and 5 minutes with these. You know what I'm saying? No more than that. I said an hour, and I would give myself 5 minutes to go over. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I would max it out. I was going to keep it moving because I was just in the flow, but I'm going to break my rhythm, and I'm going to stop it here, and we'll just continue in another video. All right? So I appreciate you guys rocking with me today, Israel. So we'll begin today with, we'll just scratch that from your mind. I didn't read 459. We'll start with 459 next time. All right? So I pray that you guys were edified. that you guys are getting this, that you listen to this and you're saying, damn, it's dumb as fuck to be trying to be a law pusher in this day and time. To try to claim to be a law keeper is some of the dumbest shit that you can fucking do. It should be embarrassing to even claim to be a law pusher. And that's what time it is. We're making it an embarrassment to be a law pusher going forward. All right? Giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai. All praises due. Grace, peace, and blessings to my family, the elect of Israel. I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Walk in your liberty, Yasharala. Stay sucker free, aka law pusher free. All right? Enjoy yourselves out there. I'll see you on the next one. Shalom.